Hi guys, so it's me again. I want to talk to you about the Benefield case. There are a lot of opinions, some of which are asinine. You're not surprised. It is online, after all. So Doug was married before, and he had a daughter, okay, from his wife. I don't remember his wife's name. But they were married, and she passed away. She died from cancer. And 9 months later, which isn't that long, right? 9 months later, he met Ashley. And that's where everything went straight to hell. So they met at a political function, and she decided to... Women can really, when they go in get that guy mode, they can really make themselves look attractive. Their hair's on point, their makeup's on point. She will lay the hell out of him as often as possible, because with some men, that gets them in the head. And next thing you know, he's 1000% irrational, and she wants to marry him, and he's perfectly okay with that, because if I'm gonna be getting porno stuff, if I'm gonna be getting it like this, I got to make this legal. Okay, some guys are like that. Some guys are players, and you could give it to them where you're doing it while you're both upside down, and it don't matter. They still not gonna be, they're not gonna be drawn to you. They're just dead inside. So it won't matter what freaky deaky things you do. They're still not gonna, they're not gonna be swooned by that. But he was. So 13 days later, they were married. Yes, you heard me correctly. 13 days later, they were married. She decided, he had money, and she wanted him to help her finance this ballet school. She's a ballerina. And he was so swooned by her, and she's going to be on point, okay? Makeup, like I said, makeup, hair, perfect, beautiful. Rocking your world and getting you all, and so they got married. They don't know shit about each other, okay? But they thought that would be a good idea. So, for some reason, the financing for the ballet school did not happen. I'm not sure what went south, but that didn't work out. She decided and encouraged him to have a baby, but he had a vasectomy, and she encouraged him to reverse it, so he did. And then she went on this page of, she had the baby. She was trying to... She wanted to be a single mother, which you don't have to get married to be a single mother, right? She was also trying to paint this picture that he was violent. She was domestic violence, survivor, and he was he was vicious, he was violent, he was beating her up and all of that. Do I think any of that's true? No, because she went to court and she tried to get a restraining order, and she also wanted him arrested right there in court, because he's a horrible person, and he threatens me, and he scares me, and he beats me up, and this and that and the other, and blah, blah, blah. The courts didn't find any evidence to that at all. And there's a lot of dummies. I'm just going to keep it real with you. There's a lot of dummies online that are saying, well, I believe her. I believe her. I believe... Did you not hear what the prosecuting attorney said? The prosecuting attorney specifically said that there was zero evidence to her being a victim of domestic violence. So why are you going all up in your own head with this reality that's not real? There was no evidence to that. That's why he was never arrested. Okay? No evidence to that. They separated. She lived with her mom in Florida and gave him the impression that we're going to work it out. We're not going to work it out. We're going to move in together. We're not going to move in together. This is after they were separated. And then she had the baby, did not tell him, and she did not allow him to see his daughter for 6 months. They went to counseling, but then he found out that she was seeing someone else, and that's when he was going to file for divorce. And she created this entire scenario that he was coming after me. I feared for my life, and I grabbed my gun. I told him to stop. He told me, "You're done," which I don't believe any of that. And then she shot him 3 times, and he died. Which is stupid on her part, because if she would have kept him alive, she would have gotten child support. Because obviously he was her cash cow. Obviously. That's why she wanted to lock him in so fast. And unfortunately, he allowed himself to be locked in. Do I think that he had a temper issue? Yes. There was talk about him punching the dog until the dog was unconscious. He punched the dog in the face. And there was supposedly a bullet in the ceiling from a gun. And I don't know if any of that is true. It did seem to me that he was somewhat of a loose cannon, could not regulate his emotions. Do I think he was beating her up? No. Do I think he was a threat to her? No. Did she play him like a fiddle and make him angry? Yes. But I don't believe that he was going to beat her up and she needed to get a restraining order and the courts needed to arrest him. Right now, he needs to be arrested. No, they never did arrest because there wasn't enough evidence. It was just her hearsay. There was no evidence at all. So one shot he was low. He was down low when she took the gun, and she went down like this and said, "Stop." Now, let me ask you something. Let's just be logical. We're going to use our brain today. Okay? We're going to use our brain. How many people are a threat to you when they're below you? Think about that. Who gets down on a low level to jack you up, to beat you up, and to hurt you, and to be violent with you? Who does that? You're automatically at a disadvantage when you're lower than the person. This is just common sense. So when she started pointing the gun low, I thought, and they had her actually show the court, where were you standing? What was he doing? And he was supposedly doing all this. Who attacks you by throwing their arms around like this? Who does it? It didn't make any sense what she was saying. It absolutely made no sense what she was saying. Who's lower than you attacking you? It don't make sense. It just doesn't make any sense. It's just defies logic. And for her, she shot him in the right nipple and it exited out his back. She shot him in his shoulder, right shoulder. And she also shot him in the right leg. I'm not sure which one of those were fatal, but regardless, he ended up deceased. I'm not going to say what I'm not going to say what the verdict is, because I don't want to spoil it if you go watch it, in case you go watch the case. I don't want to spill the beans on the verdict. But this is why I tell men, you need to control your sexual desires. You need to reel that back. Because women who are narcissistic and possibly a sociopath or psychopath, they will use their body to make you break down. It's a weapon. Just like men do the same thing with women. I'm gonna rock you so good, you be speaking in foreign languages. I'm gonna have your toes curled and have you screaming in multiple languages, and I'm gonna just rock you so good, you're gonna lose all your shit. You're gonna fall in love with me, and you'll let me do anything to you. Anything. Some men do the same thing. And unfortunately, it worked on Doug. He also had a daughter. His daughter from his wife. 15? I think. Don't quote me on that. I think she's 15. This is how Doug introduced Ashley to his daughter. This is the person I've been seeing. This is Ashley. Ashley, this is, and I forget his daughter's name. I do forget her name. I feel bad for her, but I forget her name. And then a few days later, oh, by the way, remember I introduced you to Ashley? She's my wife. We're actually married. It stopped being about you when you had children. It stopped being about you. So she not only has to deal with 9 months prior, she lost her mom, and you don't recover from that in 5 minutes, right? She was close with her mom. Her mom was close with her. And you just go up and marry somebody else, and whether your daughter is okay with that or not, whatever, it's irrational. It's just completely irrational. You won't catch me doing that. We known each other for 13 days. We should get married. We should. It's a great idea. We don't know shit about each other. Perfect. You're not going to catch me doing that, okay? So, she's going to serve some time, I guess. I don't know. I think that, well, I might as well tell you, because it's online anyway. You could easily find it. She was not sentenced, but her verdict was guilty. I might as well tell you, because you're going to find it anyway. It's not really a secret. So yeah, she's found guilty of manslaughter, and I don't agree with that. I think it should have been first-degree murder. It was premeditated because Doug came to the house to supposedly help her move or pack boxes or whatever. Her mother took the baby to the park or wherever she took the baby, and within that time frame, he got shot and murdered. You cannot sit here and tell me that wasn't premeditated, okay? All her stuff is packed except for her weapons. First of all, and they were hollow points. What in the hell do you need 2 guns for, one of which is hollow point? What exactly are you planning to do? Well, she did it. And then she's sitting in court. I don't think she should have got manslaughter. I think she skated on that. I think she should have got first-degree premeditated murder. Okay. And she's sitting in court, and she's kind of like this. Her face is all frowned up, and she looks like she's going to cry. And the times that she was supposedly crying, her hair was covering her face, and it was all fake. There were no tears. The whole time she cried, there were no tears. Not even real fake tears. There's nothing. Just, she's not crying because she killed her husband. She's crying because she's going to go to jail. She don't want to go to jail. So, you can watch it on YouTube. It's just absolutely mind-boggling how you deliberately had a child with this man that you didn't know. And you married this man that you didn't know. So you had a kid with him because that's real smart. And then instead of locking him into child support, you eliminate him. And because you haven't been married that long, you're not going to get half of his anything because you haven't been married long enough. And I'm going to tell you something else. I've seen cases in Florida. If you're from Florida and you happen to be smart, I'm proud of you. Okay. But I've seen cases in Florida where it was completely obvious that this person committed this crime and they got away with it. Casey Anthony, case in point. Case in point. There's evidence on her computer. She was looking for ether, or no, not ether. She was looking for chloroform. She was trying to get information on chloroform. And then she covered it up and said, "Oh, no, I was looking for chlorophyll. You know how the computer fills it in." Anyway, there was so much evidence that she killed her daughter and she got away with it. There's another incident in Florida where the cop shot and killed his wife. It's obvious from the trajectory and everything that he killed her, but he got away with it and they said that she eliminated herself, which is a blind person can see that is not what happened. So because cases in Florida, I don't know if it's too much sun exposure to the brain or what it is, but juries in Florida are just not too fucking bright, and they have a tendency to overlook a lot of things and get the guilty person innocent. Okay? So I was hoping that didn't happen with this case, because I've already seen a pattern where Floridians are just, something ain't working up there. So I wish she had a stiffer sentence. Yeah, I mean, this was all premeditated. And somebody else, there were a lot of stupid ass comments online. None of them were based on the evidence of the case. It's like, you need to watch the whole trial before you make that comment. "Oh, I believe her. I believe her." I said, did you not realize that the prosecutor had absolutely no evidence of domestic violence, regardless of what she said? No evidence. No evidence at all. And you would think the prosecutor would be more than happy to say that there was, the prosecutor, let me see. Prosecutor going against her. Yeah, they basically said she was lying. That was not true. Anyway, there was no evidence. There was no evidence. That he was beating her up and all this. Now, was he a loose cannon sometimes? Probably. Was there maybe alcohol involved? Who knows? We're not going to know the entire full story. You know how that works. But, what's the lesson, right? There got to be a lesson in there. The lesson is, don't marry somebody after 13 days. You don't know them after 13 months even. Let's use our brain, okay? Don't have children from people you don't know just because you married them. Don't allow someone to use their body, which women always do this. Women who are toxic, or men who are toxic, they use their body to get your brain swirled, to make sure that you can't function. You got it so good, your eyes are like, and you're gone. People know that. That's why they use it as a weapon. We have to think. We have to think past our bodies, and we've got to focus on we have to have critical thinking, critical thought process. How is this going to impact my daughter? How is this going to impact my future? What will my family think? Am I going to get chewed out for this, with his family going, "What? You only known her for how long? Really? What were you thinking?" If you're prepared to get your butt chewed, go ahead and make a silly choice. Go ahead. You don't know if this person is prone to violence. They don't know if you're prone to violence. You don't know each other. It's been 13 days. Okay? So, both of them, sometimes people they have the worst impact on each other, and they should never be a couple. They should never be a couple. Because they're too toxic. I'm not saying he was innocent, because I'm sure he had his own demons that he was dealing with. but she was a lot worse than him by far, and manipulative and sneaky and violent and everything else. And I don't care if she's a ballerina and she's got a perfect body and you think she's attractive and all this. You still got to use your brain, not your body, and not your brain in a silly state of mind. You have to calm yourself down and ask yourself, what am I doing? Am I making a smart choice? Am I making a good decision? I need to give this more time. We just met. I'm still high from us meeting each other. Maybe I should take a deep breath and calm down. That's what you do. Okay? That's what you do. So it makes no sense to me for her to eliminate him because, again, she could have got more money from him if he was alive. Nobody can pay you child support if they're gone. But she also wanted to raise her child by herself. She's not dealing with a full deck of cards, obviously. You don't go killing people because whatever reason. I don't really care about the reason. You don't do that. He didn't force you to come on to him and to make him marry you. You manipulated that man. You manipulated him, and he was more than happy to be manipulated. It was just a toxic soup. And it's just a horrible thing. I feel bad that he's gone. I hate that he's gone. But we do have to be careful about our decisions. We have to be careful because those decisions we may have to live with for the rest of our lives until they take us out of here or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, this could go bad so quick, so fast. It's a tragedy that never should have occurred. There's annulment, there's divorce, She didn't have to get married if she just wanted a kid. She could have went to a freaking sperm donor. She could have went to a fertility clinic, not a fertility clinic. She could have went somewhere and got impregnated that way. She don't have to have a man for that. This was all evil on her part. Just she's not dealing with a full deck of cards. And like I said, the two of them together, it was a deadly combination. So if you want to look up the case, it's on YouTube, and it's Doug and Ashley Benefield. I like his older daughter. She's very smart, and she said that her dad was never prone to violence. So, and sometimes if you're with a loon, they can upset you so much that you start exhibiting violent behavior, and that's not normally you at all. And that's called reactive abuse. When you act 1000% out of character because this person is manipulating the absolute hell out of you, and you go into rages and you start doing things that are 1000% not your character. Do I think that's a possibility? Yes. His daughter said he wasn't prone to violence. So. Somebody else made a comment. I'm going to let you guys go. But somebody else made a comment and said, well, he got rid of his wife and then he met her and married her. I said, he didn't get rid of his wife. She died. Like, what in the freaking hell are you even talking about? You could tell who hasn't watched the freaking trial. You could just tell by the idiocy that comes out of their fingers when they type. Okay. Yeah, so anyway, you guys take care. Much love, and make smart decisions. Don't get caught up in the heat of the moment and do some stupidness, because that could be a very bad deal. Okay? Very bad deal. All right. Y'all take care. Much love. Bye.